host Keith Andrew, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. That's available on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Make sure to like, share, comment, follow us on all social medias because we would like to hear from you. Today we have a great guest on the show. He's a voice actor in the industry. You're going to hear some of his great secrets and how he became a big name and how you can become a voiceover actor too. When we come back from this commercial break, make sure to like and subscribe.
Hi, my name is Michael George Kanatous. I've had the honor of being on Keith Andrew's show, and it was my pleasure to be on it. Everything he does, I love, and I can't wait to be back on the show.
The first subject we're going to talk about is icebreakers. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, Keith. My name is Michael George Kanatous. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I spent about most of my life there. I was born in New York City, raised in Brooklyn, spent about close to 40 years there, and then decided to move upstate with my wife and kids at the time. I was in the food service industry for about close to 40 years, and I decided after a long bout of thinking things over with this that I actually want to change careers. And I've been hearing for the longest that I had a good radio voice and I should do something with it. So I figured I'd inquire about it and look into stuff and see what was the best way to get into it. And I found a great school called Such a Voice out of Vermont that you can do everything right online and go through the tutorials and get coached and learn everything there is about the business.
If you're interested, I'd like to hire you and narrate my book. You have a great, as you said, you have a great voice.
Well, thank you. I'd be more than happy to. I appreciate that.
So the next one I want to ask you, it's kind of like an icebreaker. Well, we did icebreakers. Let me ask you, what was it like when you broke that glass ceiling? Have you ever dealt with stereotypes? And how did you prove people wrong about you?
Well, stereotypes, I guess the big thing is it depends what people are looking for. I always knew that this wasn't going to be a 1, 2, 3 thing. I was going to get my demos and boom, the doors and the floodgates were going to open and I was going to be doing great right away. That was actually recording and doing the demos and working with the coach and everything else, all the other wonderful people from Such a Voice, is actually the easier part of it. Once you get that done, the harder part is trying to get your stuff out there. I did 6 commercials and 4 narrations just to give people an idea of what I can do with different character emotions in each one. It's really hard to break into the business because you're up against thousands of people of all genres and speak all different kinds of languages that you're up against. But I think the key here is not to get discouraged and to keep persevering. You have to, if you want to make this a living and you want to get into this kind of business, you definitely can't, walk away from it if the first you get 5 or 6 turndowns, you don't get the audition. You got to keep plugging away.
Now, let me you bring up an interesting point about the being turned down. for people who have disabilities
Mm.
and who suffer from depression, you know, like for me, for an example, I'm gonna throw myself underneath the bus. I started my talk show back in June 10th of 2013, and I made a lot of mistakes.
Mm.
I now have I can't say permission forms. I have 11 of these. And I'm
Wow.
like, my thing was, I was like my grandfather. If I give you my word's my bond. Now, and
Okay.
this is where it comes in for uncensored because you do have freedom of speech. That doesn't mean shit. Yes, it sounds great. It's like, okay, he sounds professional, but does he really mean it? So my biggest mistake was I didn't have permission forms. I did 300, and my brother and my sister were saying at the time, "Oh, you're not a legit show, and you don't have anything in writing." So I looked up a lawyer. Long story short, he said you don't have to be copyrighted because you're not famous, and that's $2,000, and all you're doing is pissing $2,000 away if you're not going to be incorporated.
Right.
Biggest mistake is, and I'm going to say this for everyone out there, write up a permission form like what you sign. I
Hmm.
introduce myself, I tell you what the show is, and by signing it, you saying we went over everything and you agreed to do my show. That was my biggest mistake. And as you mentioned, going back to answer your first thing that you said, you're going up against millions of people. You and me, we're in the same entertainment world.
Yeah.
We're going up against millions of people. You may not have a disability, but I am. But not to brag about it.
I hear
But
you.
that doesn't say, oh, well, why should we work with you over Michael? Okay, you have a disability, but Michael has a better voice. He can do laps around you. But at the same time, Michael doesn't have a disability and he can't cater to. I'm not saying maybe you do, maybe you don't have a disability, but hypothetically speaking, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, you have a disability, we can cater to people with disabilities, but your voice sucks. Michael and I'm not kissing your ass, you
No.
are a fantastic voiceover actor, and you are, to my opinion, a household name because you've been doing this a long time. You're an inspiration. And you see what I mean? You're up against millions of people. So the point I'm trying to make is yes, you have been rejected. I've been rejected.
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean you throw your hands up and walk away
Right.
because I've been doing this for 12 and a half years. I
Hmm.
want to do this to the day I die. Do you
That's
agree?
cool.
For
Yeah.
you and your acting and your voiceover career, do you feel the same way?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. You're right. It's an interesting thing, and this kind of business that we're in is very competitive. And even with disabilities or without disabilities, your odds are just as hard in making it. I think the biggest thing is to persevere. And if you really truly feel it in your heart that this is what you love to do and want to do, then keep doing it. And you know what? I love doing it. And whether I make it big or not, it's not even the point. I'm not trying to do it to become famous or make a lot of money. I'm just doing it because I enjoy it and I love the world of voiceover. I love doing different characters. I'll do a southern voice from time to time, and it'll be something like this. Hey Ben, how you doing? This is Big Bob from the Wine and Spirit Store. It's so nice to meet you and be part of your team today. Now you use that and use different character voices to portray things, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to get the job. I'm up against so much talent, and I've listened to some people on LinkedIn that I'm friends with and I connected with, and they're amazing. And I think the thing is sometimes I have to talk to myself off the off the ledge because I look at them and I hear their work and they're so good and I start to doubt myself. And so that's never a good thing because when you start doubting yourself and asking yourself, am I really good enough to do this? Can I do it? Do I have what it takes to do it? Those are the questions. And you just have to say yes, yes, yes. And you got to keep going.
Do you or do you not listen to motivational speeches?
I do from time to time. Not often, but I have in the past, mostly philosophical ones. That's what I enjoy listening to.
Hey, if it has a good voice to it, I'm not religious or anything, but I started. It's really for whoever came up with this. It was a great idea. I am Jewish, but like I said, I did not. Hey, yo, you want to fight about it? We can fight about it. But I'm not religious or anything. However, I came across Optimus Prime
Hmm.
reading the Bible about Genesis. If I find it, I will send it to you. It's Optimus Prime in Peter Cullen's voice. Don't know if it's really him or not, but it
Right.
sounds like similar to him. And I'm like, well, I wasn't going to read because I can't really read, but I like to hear what Optimus Prime has to say, and it was really good.
Wow. That's cool. That's cool,
But
man.
it's amazing how voices can make a difference.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I have a YouTube channel, and on my YouTube channel, I have my narrations and I have my commercials. And I also have a few clips of animation that I use different voices to create different characters. So I think the more you can add to your website, to your YouTube channel or Instagram or Facebook, whichever, or all of them, the more you can add to it, the better your chances of somebody noticing and saying, hey, you know what? That was a great little character he just did. That was a crazy voice. I could use that for one of my projects. So you never know when the next store is going to open. So you just got to keep plugging away at it.
Now, recently, I actually created my own LinkedIn fan page. I'm on to like, get off MySpace, MySpace, I'm sorry, I'm going back 20 years. But
Yeah.
actually, it's funny you mentioned that. I want to give a shout out to YouTube. And I heard on the radio, actually, it's been 20 years since YouTube became a thing. And I didn't even know it started as a dating site.
Wow, I didn't know that either. It's
It,
been
start,
20 years already.
it started back in 2005 as a dating site of all things.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that. That's crazy, huh? See how time flies 20 years later.
Hey, 20 years ago, I was a junior in high school.
God, yeah, I was in my 30. No, yeah, my 30s. No, I was 40 years old 20 years ago. So yeah, time flies. I think the older we get, it keeps going faster and faster.
Actually, that's the next subject I want to talk to you about. The biggest enemy in the room. What was the expression? There's three things you can't escape from: death, time, and taxes. Obviously, I don't have any special effects. Actually, what it's really cool if you show my show, I have special effects.
Hmm.
I don't have any for the IRS or anything.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. But as you're looking at the screen, there's a picture of a clock. So let me ask you, with everything that you accomplish in your life, from start, middle, and God willing, and you still have a long way to go. Me too. Time. Is time really the enemy? And how does that affect you?
Well, that's a really good question. I think the time is the enemy for anyone that is trying to make it in a business when you're not a spring chicken anymore. I think the best time, obviously, when you're late teenage years, early 20s, is the best time to go for things that you really want to do. I've always considered myself, Keith, to be a late bloomer, man, with everything, with acting, with voice acting and voiceover, even down to playing my guitar. I bought a guitar back when I was 17 years old. I bought a beautiful Ibanez jet black with the pearl white leaf down the neck of it for 200 bucks. And I wish to God I still had it today because it'd be worth something and it was a great guitar.
Right.
But yeah, it just it's mind-blowing how fast time goes. Now, with that guitar thing, the reason why I stayed I'm kind of a late bloomer is because back then when I started, I didn't really play as much as I should have, and I even went to school for it. But little by little, as things go on and life continues, you kind of fall away from that and you get into something else, which was always the case. So I never picked it up again. Years later, I would pick it up periodically in my 20s and my 30s and even in my 40s, but I never really pursued it the way I have in the last 2 years. And now I'm the best I've ever been on guitar. And it blows my mind because I look at videos of myself 10 years ago playing and I was terrible. I couldn't really play very well. And now with playing almost every day, almost like practicing with my recording and doing voiceovers at least an hour a day, I'm getting somewhere. And the hard work shows because I'm so much better on guitar now than I ever was.
I give you an example. If it doesn't cut off on me, with the green screen, what you see on the reflex like this, you see. So pretty much, season one
Mm,
was here's the camera, and I have a camera here. So pretty much whatever the camera picked up from the phone,
mm,
I recorded because in 2013 there was no, I mean, there was Skype, but you couldn't record your calls. So there's two parts you brought up real fast, but I do want to talk about.
mm.
But you talk about 12 years ago, no Skype, even if there was Skype. There's no recording software. And the video quality wasn't great. And you
Right.
wanted a green screen. You couldn't have a virtual one. You had to pull one out of your ass. It was the
Yeah.
best. But it's fast forward 12 years later. Now we look professional. And as you said, and in my case too, I cringe when people say, "Hey, hey, yo, you're the talk show host with a disability." Okay, all right, hey. And then I'm like, "Oh, well, the video quality wasn't that good." Well, it's hey, it's easy to throw stones like, "Would you like to help me?" It's like, "Oh no, if you can't do it yourself, and it's not meant to be." But that's where I say you could be discouraged, like throw your hands up, walk away.
Yeah.
12 and a half years, I ate, not actually, but I physically ate shit. I taught myself how to dress professionally, how to act professional lessons. You saw a progress from June 10th of 13 all the way up to now. And there's a big ass difference in
Yeah.
video quality
Oh,
and
yeah.
how I present myself. But the biggest thing is you are your own worst enemy. You have
Mm-hmm.
to be your own cheerleader. You have to motivate yourself every single day. The biggest thing is once it starts to feel like a job and you start to hate it, you're setting yourself up for failure.
That's right. That's right. I agree. And it's time, usually that's the writings on the wall. It's time to move on, you know? But yeah, I agree.
Well, let me ask you, social media, how has social media impacted your life and has it improved and helped your career?
Absolutely not. Unfortunately, I'd love to say it has, but Facebook, I'm connected with people that are voiceover artists as well. And it's more of a community to discuss things and come up with ideas or see if what other people are doing. Or sometimes other people may need help with other projects and they may offer uh, to throw it out there and see if anybody's interested. As far as Instagram, I'm on it, but not for voiceover because it's another platform that's really not going to do anything for me. I think the ones that are more geared towards voiceovers are platforms like voices.com, actor.com, voices123, Edge. There are a bunch of them. And they all pretty much give you a free account to start. But obviously, it's about money. I know Voices 123, I think for $300 a year, You can sign up with them, and they'll send you auditions through the various companies that are looking for, your type of voice. But once again, it's an expense, and if I would be the first to tell you, don't quit your full-time job to do this, because this is definitely, in the very beginning, is a part-time gig. And this is better well spent after work, on your time off, on the weekend, or what have you, because of that. It's just, there's no guarantee to make money right away. And you are up against thousands of other people with great voices. So you have to be realistic about it. And yeah, working full time and doing this on the side as a part time gig is the way to go until you start making the money. Now, if you start getting gigs left and right and you're making killer money and it starts flowing in, then yeah, then that's probably the sign that maybe time to dedicate full time to this, and make it a living. But right now, for me, it's just a part time gig.
I agree. And that's the same thing for me too. It's just, well, I can tell you the reason off the air, but I can't really work. So instead of working in a 9 to 5 job and it's like I hate this, I don't, this is not what I want to be doing. I've
Mhm.
been making videos for the past 25 years. So why not, if you have services, like the same thing with your voice, if you have a great voice and you or great editing skills, offer your service and turn it into a job. And you don't know where that's going to lead.
This is true. This is true. I've gotten involved with a bunch of different organizations. There's one I'm actually currently with right now. They're called TAMF, TAMMFF.com. They solely represent everybody behind the scenes of acting. So they're an organization that holds events periodically throughout the year in New York City and Georgia, catering to everybody behind the scenes in motion picture. So it's almost like an award show. They actually give kudos to people behind the scenes, makeup crew, uh, artist, everybody that's involved that never gets recognition. So I just actually joined them, and am excited to find out and see, what I could do for them. They just started a new category in the voiceover realm, and I'd love to be a part of it. So I've connected with them, and hopefully we can get some good things out of it. And once again, this too, for anybody that wants to be a voiceover artist, it's all about networking, man. It really is. And you know it. You meet somebody here, you meet somebody there. You never know who's going to have information that you could use, or an end somewhere that might be able to maybe take my demos and pass them along to somebody. Because I've done the legwork. I'm in Syracuse, New York, and I've hit up all the local radio stations with Cumulus and Galaxy. I've went there personally, uh, dressed sharp, looking sharp, dropped off a business card, and asked them, if there's anybody, if the program manager has a minute and can just listen to my stuff. If anything becomes available, please feel free to reach out and let me know. I found out a lot of them, though, are contracted, and I'm freelance. I'm not signed with anybody, so I'm kind of doing this on my own, like you. So I'm up against contracted people as well. And unless somebody gets sick and something has to be done where they can, needs a fill in right away, I mean, that's the best I can ask. But it requires a lot of networking and legwork, man. It's not gonna. Nobody's gonna come knocking on your door and say, "Hey, you're the voice I've been looking for, Keith. Come on, baby, let's bring it." Unfortunately, as much as I'd love for that to happen, it's just not realistic.
Here's a funny story for you, wrapping up, but I do want to say one thing. Tonight, available on YouTube and all social medias, make sure to check out TNA Wrestling this Saturday and Sunday. Actually, on the 27th, that's Sunday. This Sunday will be TNA Rebellion. Definitely check out if you're into TNA Wrestling. I just want to do like a little plug. I like professional wrestling, but the next thing I want to talk to you about
Mm.
is, and now it's on the screen, you are the voice guy. You do commercials, narration, audiobooks, and I have some great ideas. I would love to work with you.
Sure.
But here's a funny story that for you would probably appreciate. I was networking a while ago, and I came across this guy, and he's like, "Oh, well, thank you for coming in across my page." I'm like, "Okay, I would like to interview you. You're a voiceover actor, and to let you know, there's $20 because this is a job that I do." Well, I can't really justify giving you $20 when something about $4,000 came up. So I'm like, okay, so what do you want to do? And I guess I misunderstood, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna pay me, you're gonna give me $4,000 for the interview? Okay. I mean, a couple red flags went off. It's like bullshit on that one. So
Yeah.
I said, okay, well, I went to my PayPal. I didn't know if 4,000 would go through, so I did it two times, two and two. And like, no, 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 you misunderstood. You have to pay me 4,000.
What?
For what? Well, first off, you're not traveling. You're not going to any hotels. You're not for food. Well, it's like I'm in a high elite LinkedIn Hollywood group, and you have to pay $4,000. I'm like, thank you for your time. No.
I don't blame you, brother. That's almost the SAG what do you call to join them? I think they're 3,500 to join for the first year, and then it reduces after that. Who's got that kind of money when you're first starting off?
And I got my hopes up too. It's like 4,000. Oh, I can pay off both my credit cards. I can buy new glasses because they're $1,000. And then he turned it around. It's like, no, you have to pay me a month. Where's the door?
Yeah, really, man. That's crazy.
But I
Crazy.
do want to talk to you real fast about this picture. It's a black and white picture. You sitting in a chair with a microphone in your face.
Hmm.
Do you know the picture I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
What can you tell our viewers about that picture?
Well, I was actually recording a script. That was one of them I was doing for Guitar Center, and I finished that. A friend of mine, actually my girlfriend, not a friend of mine, my girlfriend actually took the photo, and she took a several bunch of them to see which one we can get that would make it look really good. And once again, when you're starting off in voiceover, everything is new and everything's a beginning, right down to starting a website. I'd never had a website before, so I didn't know anything about it. Luckily, my girlfriend had helped me out with it, and we collaborated together and were able to come up with a decent website that looks professional and gets the point across of what I'm capable of doing.
Yeah, I agree. I do have a couple questions for you off the air. The last one, I want you to be brutally honest. I have no cards on my sleeve. When I
Okay.
first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first honest opinion when you got the email, and what made you say yes?
My first opinion was yes, but let me find out more about it. Um, Nobody's reached out before to me with this regarding something like this, so I wanted to first make sure it wasn't a scam or anything like that. And then once I knew it wasn't, and I watched your other videos on YouTube, I was honored that you would want to interview me. So I was more than excited to be a part of this and do this with you.
No, absolutely, and I really appreciate it. It isn't well. Let me explain. By being on the show, you get in a half hour to share your message, talk about anything you want, and in return, you're supporting a talk show host with a disability. A lot of criticisms I've been getting is like, well, you say you're a talk show host. Do I have to have a disability to be on my show? No, if you say it like that, you sound like an asshole. It's
Yeah.
kind of like you're missing the point. By
Yeah,
being on the show, this is your airtime to talk and say anything you want. And yes, you're helping a host with a disability get better and reach his goals. And, it's a quick quote. You're helping me. Yeah, I'm getting something. You're getting something out of it. So it's a transaction. Plus, you're making a new friend out of it.
that's right.
But I guess and you mentioned the part about being a scam. I mean, you're not calling me a scam, but you're not the first. That's not the first time that has came up. I'm like, I have recommend. Look, I have 300 recommendations. I have 1,000 videos. If that's a scam, that's a really good freaking scam.
I know.
But it's
I
kind
know.
of like I don't know. There was another subject I do want to talk to you about, but we can save it for part two. You're more than welcome to be on my show anytime you want. But
Thank
the
you. I'd
last
love to be
question,
on again.
no, absolutely. The last question I want to ask you,
Mm.
what new projects are you working on, and how can people get in touch with you?
Well, once again, you can go to my website. It's Voice of Kanatous. The last name is spelled Kanatous.com. You can see all my work there, and I have my phone number on there, my website. So all the information you need to get in touch with me. Right now, I'm currently working on a short animation with a Spanish accent. So this is my one impersonation. Hello, Ben. It's so nice to meet you. I come from the island of Cuba. So once again, I have a short animation with the Spanish guy that's built and he's ripped. He's got jet black hair. He looks the part. He's a Latin lover and he's a massage therapist, and the women love him. His name is Juan. So that's my newest project I'm working on. Uh, Once again, I try to keep busy like you and keep doing a bunch of different things because the more you can add to the equation, the better your chances are of somebody getting in touch with you, you know?
Absolutely. I do have a couple questions for you off the air, but wrapping up, this will be shared on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Our goal is to reach 500 and more views. If you're watching, please leave a message for me and our guests. And if you have anyone who wants to be a guest, actually, we are 800 people short of our goal of reaching 2,000. So the door is always open. But wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. I'm looking forward to part two. Now, until we meet again, I catch you later. Thank
Thank
you
you, Keith. It's
and
my
have a good
pleasure,
night.
brother.